everyone, Miss Kayla here. I have a story for you. And the name of this story is A Chair for My Mother. Let's see what it's all about. My mother works as a waitress in the Blue Tie Diner. After school, sometimes I go to meet her there. Then her boss, Josephine, gives me a job to do. I wash the salt and pepper shakers and fill the ketchups. One time I peeled all the onions for the onion soup. When I finished, Josephine says, "Good work, honey," and pays me, and every time I put half of the money into the jar. It takes time to fill a jar this big. Every day when my mother comes home from work, I take down the jar. My mama empties all the change from her tips out of her purse and for me to count. Then we put all the coins into the jar. Sometimes my mama is laughing when she comes home from work. Sometimes she's so tired she falls asleep while I count the money out into piles. Some days we have lots of tips. Some days she only has a little. Then she looks worried, but each and every single tiny, shiny coin goes into the jar. I wonder what they're saving the money for. We sit in the kitchen to count the tips. Usually Grandma sits with us too while we count. She likes to hum. Often she has money in her old leather wallet for us. Whenever she gets a good bargain on tomatoes or bananas or something she buys, she puts by the savings and they go into the jar. When we can't get a single other coin into the jar, we are going to take out all the money and go and buy a chair. Yes, a chair, a wonderful chair, a beautiful, fat, soft armchair. We will get one covered in velvet with roses all over it. We are going to get the best chair in the whole world. That's because all our old chairs burned up. There was a big fire in our house. All our chairs burned, so did our sofa, and so did everything else. That wasn't such a long time ago. My mother and I were coming home from buying new shoes. I had new sandals and my mom new pumps. We were walking to the house from the bus. We were looking at everyone's tulips, and then we saw. She was saying she liked the red tulips, and I was saying I liked the yellow ones. Then we came to our block. Right outside our house stood two big fire engines. I could see lots of smoke. Tall orange flames came out of the roof. All the neighbors stood in bunches across the street. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran. My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran up to us. Mama yelled, "Where's Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandma?" My Aunt Ida waved and shouted, "She's here, she's here, she's okay, don't worry." Grandma was all right. Our cat was safe too, though it took us a while for us to find her. But everything else in our whole house was spoiled and burned. That is very sad. What was left of our house was turned to charcoal and ash. We went to stay with my mother's sister, Aunt Ida, and Uncle Sandy. When we were able to move into the apartment downstairs, we painted the walls yellow. The floors were all shiny, and the rooms were very empty. The first day we moved in the neighborhood, the neighbors brought pizza and cake and ice cream, and they brought a lot of other things too. The family across the street brought a table and 3 kitchen chairs. The very old man next door gave us a bed from when his children were little. My other grandpa brought us this beautiful rug. My mother's other sister, Sally, had made us red and white curtains. Mama's boss, Josephine, brought pots and pans and silverware and dishes. My cousins brought her own stuffed bear. Everyone clapped when my grandma made a speech. You are all the kindest people, she said, and we thank you very, very much. It's lucky we're young and can all start over. The neighbors and family were kind and helped. That was last year, but we still have no sofa and no big chairs. When Mama comes home, her feet hurt. There's no good place for me to take a load off my feet, she says. When Grandma wants to sit back and hum and cut potatoes, she has to get as comfortable as she can on a hard kitchen chair. So that is how come Mama brought home the biggest jar she could find at the diner, and all the coins started to go into the jar. Now the jar is too heavy for me to lift up. Uncle Sandy gave me a quarter. He had to boost me up so I could put it in. So what are they gonna buy with the coins from the jar? Oh, okay. I think you might be right. Let's find out. After supper, Mama and Grandma and I stood in front of the jar. We never would have believed it, but I guess it was full, Mama said. My mother brought home little paper wrappers for the nickels and the dimes and the quarters. I counted them all out and wrapped them all up. On my mother's day off, we took all the coins to the bank. The bank exchanged them for $10 bills. Then we took the bus downtown to shop for our chair. We shopped through 4 furniture stores. We tried out big chairs and small ones, high chairs and low chairs, soft chairs and hard ones. Grandma said she felt like Goldilocks in the 3 Bears trying out all the chairs. Finally, we found the chair we were all dreaming of, and the money in the jar was enough to pay for it. We called Aunt Ida and Uncle Sandy, and they came right down in their pickup truck to drive the chair home for us. They knew we couldn't wait for it to be delivered. Let's see. Oh, look what chair they picked. I tried out our chair in the back of the truck. Mama wouldn't let me sit there while we drove, but they let me sit in it for a while. They carried it up to the door. We sat the chair right beside the window with the red and white curtains. Grandma and Mama and I all sat in it a while. Aunt Ida took our pictures. Now Grandma sits in it and talks with the people going by in the daytime. Mama sits down and watches the TV and the news at night when she comes home from her job. After supper, I sit with her and she can reach right up and turn out the light if I fall asleep in her lap. The end. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed that story. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.